At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 6:30. Let's take a look at the latest condition on the fires, taking a look at watch duty, and there are really no fires right now that are of major concern. We're going to take you to some of the fires that we're still kind of keeping an eye on here. Of course, nothing to be concerned about. You've got the Way fire north of Quincy, Junction Road in America Way, Quincy Junction. Forward progress has been stopped, and it looks like they have been able to, as of 4:24 p.m. yesterday, on the 18th, resources have stopped progression of the fire per incident command. So good news there. All right, we take you out to Shasta County, where we've got the Cedars fire. That's at the 3300 block of Cedar Meadows Lane in Shingletown. And as of yesterday, the final fire size is 0.18 acres, 0.18 acres per incident command. We've also got the Berry fire. This is on the 10,700 block of Whistleberry Way in Bella Vista. So they're basically saying, as of yesterday morning, there is a hose layer around the fire, continuing two-hand crews, the works. Canceling the reminder of the response per incident command. So the latest report on that is 2 acres. Don't anticipate that to get any larger and to be even a problem either. Looks like that's the only 2 that are in Shasta County. Looking at the Sheep fire in Siskiyou County. This is near Sunrise Lane and Pleasant Road in Shasta Vista. Update from CAL FIRE on Facebook. The final fire size is 0.85 acres. You can see the House fire. And you can see this was on the 13400 block of Old West Side Road in Grenada. Final size of the fire, 8 acres per CAL FIRE. That was reported yesterday evening. We've also got the Heaven fire. This is off Klamath River Road, south of Highway 96, north of Wairika. The fire is 100% contained at 20.1 acres per CAL FIRE Siskiyou unit. So good news there with 100% containment. Hey, our neighbors up to the north, Upper Applegate fire, that's the area of concern there. Up to our north, 350 acres. Fire is now approximately 70% lined, and fire activity has been reduced to smoldering as of 3:20 this morning. So that's the night operations via radio traffic reported by Watch Duty. There are evacuation orders, warnings, and advisories around the fire here, so that's going to be the main area of concern. So if you live in Happy Camp, or basically northern Siskiyou County, even northern Del Norte County, do be aware that you may see some smoke coming in from that fire, especially those winds coming in from the south-southwest. That may blow some of that smoke out into that region. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you, that's the latest on the fires, by the way. I want to remind you, you can check the latest on the fires any time of the day. WeatherNorCal.com, go to Fire Danger section. It's a one-stop shop. You know, they are looking at some planned power outages, PG&E, because of the gusty winds today, which we're going to get into the fire danger here in a bit. But that's another place that you can go right there. Click on Fire Danger, and you are good to go with one-stop shop, all the fire information that you need. All right, let's get you to Krueger's Quickcast for your Thursday, June 19th. And you can see those temperatures this morning are fairly mild, about 65 degrees for Redding, 68 in Oroville, 44 degrees right now in Alturas, and 56 degrees in Susanville. Wind gusts at the current hour, which we'll get into that here in just a second, get you out the door here this morning. And you can see mid-70s for the valley, upper 50s for the higher elevations, and low 50s with some of that low clouds and a little bit of fog for parts of the coast. Right now, the winds are not all that strong for most of us. A little breezy, especially for the north and west side of the valley, but those winds, they're going to be picking up this afternoon. You can see 30, even 40 miles per hour for parts of the valley, and pretty gusty winds in the eastern mountains as well. We're going to get into the fire weather outlook from the National Weather Service. Red flag warnings, the works here in your deeper dive forecast here just a little bit after Krueger's Quickcast, actually. The forecast winds, yeah, I mean, they're picking up again tomorrow afternoon possibly. So the humidity this afternoon is going to be rather low. You're talking single digits and teens for the valley and eastern mountains. So very dry and that's going to elevate that fire weather risk. By Friday morning, we do see some decent recovery, although very dry in Plumas County here for tomorrow morning. So there's your satellite image. We don't have any rain heading our way, but we do have a few clouds filtering in here late this morning and early afternoon. Otherwise, today, not as hot as it was yesterday. Mid-90s, give or take, for the valley, 80s for most of the mountains, and for the coast, looking at temperatures upper 50s. Tonight, upper 50s to low 60s for the valley, 40s for the mountains and for the coast. So kind of a universal spread of those temperatures here. Looking at your 7-day forecast, temperatures continue to drop for Friday, Saturday, 80. The summer solstice is tomorrow evening. First full day of summer is Saturday. It's not going to feel at all like summer, but it will feel like summer next week. Back in the 90s, even some triple digits next week in the valley. For the coast, low 60s on average. By the way, there will be a chance for showers with that cooler air moving in on Friday, possibly Saturday. May even see a few isolated thunderstorms, especially for the mountains to the north and east. So there you can see Mount Shasta. Isolated showers, possible thunderstorms tomorrow. Saturday, a slight chance for showers. I think a slimmer chance. Same story for Modoc County. In fact, I think you've got the best chance for thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Now, you'll notice I've taken it out for the eastern mountains. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail and how there still is a slight chance in there, but it's going to be few and far between. All right, now let's take a look at our fire weather forecast. And this is where we're going to start getting into that detail. And of course, the fire weather forecast is sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. So thank you for your sponsorship. There you can see the winds, as mentioned, not as strong this morning, but by the afternoon, 30 to 40 mile an hour. So you can see they're coming in from the west, northwest, even for the valley. And those westerly winds for the eastern mountains creating some gusty conditions with dry conditions also not helping. Now, it's gusty for the coast, by the way, but obviously the fire danger is not as much of a concern there. Now, look at this, 30 to even 40 miles per hour in the valley by tomorrow, and still possibly over 30, even 40 miles per hour in some spots here for the eastern mountains too. So that fire danger is going to be fairly high. Now, you can see as we go into your Saturday, now the winds are more from the north, northwest. Not as strong, but still gusty for the valley and even to the north and west of that, but obviously the eastern mountains, the wind's not nearly as strong. So with that all being said, there's a wind advisory for the Lassen County, eastern Plumas County. The winds from the west at 15 to 30 knots. Your gusts, yes, 35 to 45 miles per hour there. All right, let's take a look at the fire weather risk. And what we're seeing here is high fire danger for the valley in particular, moderate to high, I would say, for the eastern mountains. Now, I do want to mention this because Friday shows mainly moderate. Now, this forecast model that we're looking at, it basically looks at three things: temperature, humidity, and wind. So if one of those starts to drop, then you also see the fire weather risk drop as well. And what's happening is by tomorrow, we're seeing a significant drop in our temperatures. So based on this model, it reduces that fire weather risk. That being said, it'll still be windy and it will still be dry. And that's why we still need to have that elevated fire weather risk. Look at today. The National Weather Service has the fire outlook at elevated and even critical for parts of eastern Lassen County. Tomorrow, that kind of shrinks. It's more in the elevated risk, mainly for eastern Plumas and eastern Lassen County for tomorrow. So with all that said, there's a red flag warning for 1 p.m. today through Friday evening for eastern Lassen County. All right, that is a look at your fire danger, the fire weather risk. We need to use extreme caution today, tomorrow, because of those gusty winds. It's very important. We should see improving conditions, though, by the time we do get into your Saturday and second half of the weekend. But it's that time of the year, folks. We just need to be extra careful out there. Take a look at Lake Oroville, North Forebay. You can see some beautiful images coming in there. Main Street, Chico, and Highway 32. Looking at the sunny skies out there. I think a lot of people are off today. It is Juneteenth today, and I think a lot of people have the day off, but maybe some people still heading out to work like me. I'm still working. Highway 99 at Neal Road, sunny skies there. You can see looking at Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive, not a lot of traffic out there this morning, but we do have the sunny skies. Turning out to be a gorgeous start to the day out in Crescent City this morning. There you can see mainly clear skies out there and fairly calm winds, and the seagull out there. Is that George up there on the perch there? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, just a beautiful, beautiful shot out there this morning. All right, well, we also are going to take a look at Soda Ridge. beautiful sunny start to the day there. We're going to take a look at Fort Jones. Fort Jones is looking pretty nice this morning too. You see a couple of clouds that are coming in from the west. I think that'll be the case here, especially as you go into the late morning and afternoon. Maybe some high and mid-level clouds coming in, but I do expect it to be a dry day out there for today. And today is Thursday. We've got our NorCal Ag Report, and there's a kind of an old orchard out there in Paradise that has a lot of great family history to it. They offer a lot of great produce. And they even survived the campfire in 2018. They've been able to still hold on well. So Jerry O'Lennon went out there to talk to one of the owners out there and check it out.
Hi there, I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal, and this is the Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. Today I'm in Paradise at the Noble Orchards. I'm with Lori Noble, one of the owners of Noble Orchards, and this has been around since 1921. Wow, this is a long family business.
This started when Grandpa Noble and his wife moved here. That would be Perry and Ethel Noble in 1921, and started a business with their son Vincent in tow.
Take you back to November 8th, 2018. Noble Orchard almost was no more because of the fire.
This is very true. 100% of every building that we had burned to the ground. There was nothing left, with the exception of walls that were built out of stone from the orchard. The trees, on the other hand, we only lost 1% of them. It was very evident that they were healthy. The first year we had thousands and thousands of people come and pick because there were so many apples.
Tell us what's going on now. Is it still a you pick situation, or is that no longer the case?
Well, we're about to start construction of a packing shed and a cold storage, and it's pretty exciting. It's only been 6.5 years, but who's counting? We will be able to really utilize the fruit in its entirety. We haven't been able to sell to schools. We can't do wholesaling, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll really help the operation.
Apples and peaches, is that the primary crop that you have here?
Nectarines, apples, peaches. They come in the order of nectarines, peaches, then apples. And there are, I believe, about 23 different crops of apples, different varieties. We've planted some new ones. Some are just a few trees, trying different things.
When should people come here? When are you open so when people could come here and get some of the fruit they may enjoy?
Well, we're going to be taking a little break for a week and a half, and then starting May 31st, we will be back open, and it's going to be 7 days a week. We have the nursery along with an iris garden. Fruit will be starting probably the middle of June with some of the nectarines, and there's usually a gap before the peaches are ready.
Lori Noble, you are an institution in the town of Paradise. I think you know that, and you've made a huge difference in people's lives. Thank you so much.
Oh, to the community, thank you. It's mutually beneficial, and we have local employees. I think we're going to be hiring several more people this year. There's just a lot to the operation now that it took a long time to build after the fire.
Very good. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
And there's your Ag Report. I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal.
Well, I tell you what, that looks like an amazing place to go visit no matter where you are. They've got, looks like some great trees that are producing some amazing fruits, like the apples that she was talking about. They got the peaches here. They got the irises. It looks like an amazing place to go visit. Go check it out. I want to thank Kenny Elwood from Lassen Canyon Nursery for his support of NorCal Ag. Has really been the sponsor of NorCal Ag since we started it. So once again, want to thank Kenny Elwood, Lassen Canyon Nursery, for their support of NorCal Ag and Weather NorCal in general. Well, let's get ourselves to the deeper dive forecast, shall we? And made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. By the way, I want to remind you there is a Shred Fraud event Saturday, June 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We've got PSA 2, High Cap, and Medicare Patrol teaming up to help you fight fraud. A lot of the mail that you get has a lot of sensitive information. You throw it away without really thinking about it, and then you put it into a recycling bin, and thieves can go into that recycling bin and steal your identity with some of the information coming in from that mail. So, open and shred mail you don't need. Medicare statements, sensitive documents, old bills, the works. Free drive-through event once again, Saturday, June 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Be sure to put that in your calendars. Check it out. Once again, it's PSA 2. High Cap and Medicare Patrol teaming up to help you fight fraud. Okay, let's get to our forecast, shall we? And we're going to start off, speaking of seniors, today is Senior Day. Yes, Senior Day at the Shasta District Fair. And yesterday was the start of the Shasta District Fair with the hottest day of the week. But the good news is we got a cooling trend on the way. So instead of over 100 degrees that we saw in Reading yesterday, how about this? How about the mid-90s? On average later this afternoon. And then, boy, once that sun sets, you're going to be looking at those temperatures really plummeting. So, I mean, it does go until 11 p.m. So, your best bet is going to be in the evening and going into the overnight hours. We really start to kind of cool off. The temperatures right now, 65 degrees for Reading. We're looking at 71, though, in Chico. 44 degrees for Alturas, 56 in Susanville. And we're upper 40s to low 50s along the coast. So we're looking at, we're in the middle of or just started, that is, a gradual cooling trend as we approach the weekend. Possible mountain showers. Thunderstorms are in the forecast for Friday, Saturday. We'll get into that here in just a bit. Summer solstice starts tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, as a matter of fact, is when we officially transition from spring to summer. But the first full day of summer is actually on Saturday. And it's not going to feel like summer. We're going to be looking at significantly cooler weather for both Friday and Saturday. But that summer heat is going to settle in here as we go through next week. So what's going on? Number one, I want to point out these clouds right here. These will be moving through later this morning and afternoon. We're actually seeing some of the clouds. We did see in the Fort Jones camera these clouds that have moved on in. Now, there's a little bit more coming behind that. These clouds, by the way, are not going to produce any rainfall. It's just going to be some passing clouds, and that's it. Low pressure right here. That's cold air. That's going to be diving down to the south. Now, the core of that cold air will be to our north, but it will spill over to Northern California, and it's going to keep us below normal, well below normal. But it's also going to bring us a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, but not until tomorrow. Because today, you see some of the passing clouds I was talking about. Let's take you into your Friday now. There's Friday morning, starting off dry, some clouds. Friday afternoon, you see that? So we're really not looking at widespread rain or thunderstorms. What we're seeing is isolated showers and thunderstorms throughout the day on Friday, especially in the afternoon. I think the best chances for any thunderstorms to develop will be in Modoc County. We could see some activity, I think, in Siskiyou County, Del Norte County, and you see what's happening as you start heading south where the chances diminish. So I think northern Humboldt, maybe a chance for a stray sprinkle or a light shower, maybe northern Trinity, maybe northern Shasta, and northern Lassen County as well. So Bernie, not out of the question for you to kind of get caught up in some of this as well. But otherwise, we take you into Saturday. Let's take you into Saturday. You see how we have this system kind of coming in from the north. Now, what you'll notice, things kind of flare up a little bit here in the mid-afternoon hours. But a lot of the same locations, Del Norte, Siskiyou, and Modoc County. But as we go into Saturday, maybe a chance for some of that coming into northern Trinity, northern Shasta, and even a good portion of Lassen County as well. But overall, we're just not going to see a lot of activity, but there could be some lightning strikes. That's something to pay attention to, although probably won't be a widespread ton of lightning strikes, so that's not going to be as much of a concern for fire danger. So let's talk about our temperatures. Spring is holding on for the next couple of days, and we're still technically in spring right now, but by Friday evening, Saturday, it will officially be summer. It's not going to feel that way with that colder air still in place. Now, we've got some heat off to our west right here. That's going to try to build into our region going through next week. But look what happens. You see how it's just stalling out and actually flattening out as well? That's because we got this storm system riding to our north. Now, the core of that cooler air stays way to our north into Canada and just kind of spills into the Pacific Northwest. But you see a bit of a troughing right here. What that's doing is preventing this heat from building in. You see, when we started looking at this, a nice prominent arc in that ridge of high pressure, you flatten out that arc, it's not nearly as hot. So that's what's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to be hot next week. Mid to upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees for the valley, pretty much through most, if not all, of next week. But this is going to be our saving grace from preventing us from seeing a major heat wave. So we got the near normal in the longer range, but really it should be closer to that above normal, because once we do get past these cooler temperatures, as you can see, they're going to spike back up. By early next week, we're back in the mid to upper 90s. And yeah, for Redding in particular, right around or just above 100 degrees for Wednesday through the end of next week into that next weekend. We take a look at your lake levels, and we're still looking at very good historical averages, over 110% there, 80 to over 90% capacity for Shasta, Trinity, and Oroville. So yeah, still looking very good when it comes to our water that we have out there in those lakes in particular. Wave heights are still fairly high for today, but they will really start to drop off here as we go through the day on Friday. So as a result, we still have a small correct advisory through this afternoon with those winds from the northwest at about 15 to 20 knots. All right, so for today, taking a look at Trinity County, you've got temperatures of around 75 for Burnt Ranch, about 10 degrees warmer in Weaverville. You'll notice a little bit warmer up north out towards Coffee Creek at about 90 degrees and 88 degrees for Douglas City. You'll notice I've taken out the chance for showers for Trinity County, but keep in mind, especially north of Highway 299, there may be a stray sprinkle or a light shower both Friday and Saturday, but don't count on much, if anything. And then down to the south, Hayfork, a high of 83, 78 degrees for Wildwood, and Med River today, a high of about 67. All right, so for the south end of the North Coast, in particular southern Humboldt County, I think you'll be mainly dry for the next couple of days. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 70s from Miranda down to Garberville, Shelter Cove about 63. Now, you'll notice here, as we head northward, there's a slight chance for maybe a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower for both Friday and Saturday. Places like Ferndale, Fortuna, Highsville, and Rio Dell. Don't count on much, if anything. The farther north you go, the better the chances for both Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, you're dry today, dry for Sunday, and warming up going into next week, especially for the inland areas. All right, so for Crescent City, yeah, I think you've got the better chances for measurable rainfall Friday and even Saturday. But then by Sunday, you dry out, and we're keeping it in the low 60s for your daytime highs. For Siskiyou County, chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms, especially on Friday. Slimmer chances on Saturday, but the chances are still there nonetheless, but not a washout by any stretch. So if you have outdoor plans anywhere in Siskiyou County over the next few days, don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes to the sky. There you can see Greenview. Really, 83 seems to be that magic number in Scott Valley. Take you out to central and eastern Siskiyou County. We've got 80 in Weed as well as Tennant and 86 degrees for Dunsmuir. Now, I think the best chances for thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon will be in Modoc County. So that's where you really got to keep a close eye on things that are going to be outside. But it's Saturday, still a slight chance for some activity here, but not a complete washout. And then you can see as we go into Sunday, it dries out and it begins to warm up through next week. Now for the eastern mountains, I've taken out the showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, but do note places like Montgomery Creek, Bernie, Hat Creek, Fall River Mills, Bieber, all of these areas potentially both Friday and Saturday getting caught up in maybe the very southern fringe of the activity moving through. Otherwise, you're fairly dry here for most of the eastern mountains, including Lake Almanor and Lassen Park. You've got temperatures dropping, plummeting. Look at Lassen Park, Saturday, 48. 48 degrees. Obviously, a lot of the other places you visit a little bit warmer than that. Take you to the south, Paradise, 86. 84 degrees in Greenville, and right around 90 for that daytime high in Susanville today. Let's take you to the valley to the south. Temperatures should be in the low 90s for your daytime highs today. There you can see temperatures dropping down the low 80s for Friday, Saturday, and then back up into the 90s going through a good portion of next week. All right, here's a look at your Chico 7-day forecast. You've got those Juneteenth today, a high of 93, down to 81 for the summer solstice, which occurs Friday evening. First full day of summer is on Saturday with a high of 80. Temperatures increasing after that. Take a look up to the north here, and I think I figured it out. No, I didn't. Well, okay. Well, Red Bluff, you'll see a high today of 94. 95, and I was just kind of noticing that Red Bluff is not on this map here. I'm going to have to maybe change that up a little bit here eventually. 90 degrees for Whiskeytown, 96 degrees for Palo Cedro today. Here's your 7-day forecast for Redding. Juneteenth, a high of 96 today. 80 degrees for the summer solstice evening, but full day of summer, Saturday. I hate it when it goes that way. I mean, you talk about, the first full day of summer. So because the solstice occurs in the evening. So just kind of be aware of that. Temperatures upper 80s on Sunday. Temperatures continue to climb through next week. We're talking mid to upper 90s by Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe some triple digits returning by the time we do get into Wednesday and really through the latter part of next week as well. So that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you so much for joining us here on your Thursday. Hope you have a great rest of your, really great Thursday for you. Temperatures are not going to be nearly as hot as they were yesterday, so we certainly have that to look forward to here. We got a couple of people commenting this morning here. We got Rob Burnett saying... What's he got saying here? Thanks for your weather reports and updates. Love it. Well, thank you so much for watching these updates. We got Curtis Brown, one of our regulars. That was a hot blast yesterday, measured 107. Whoa, 107 degrees. Whew. I think the Reading Airport is 102, 103, somewhere in that range. Humidity only 18%. That's not good, especially when you got that. Still working on the defensible space. Good for you, Curtis, and I encourage everyone else to make sure that you are covering that defensible space as well. All right, well, again, that's going to do it for us today. What do you say we take a look at some cameras to wrap things up here today, and we'll get you started. There you go, looking at Soda Ridge. Have yourselves a great day, and we will see you tomorrow for your Friday edition of Coffee with Krueger.